Hi, my name is Tom Sharp. I am a photographer from Ottawa, Canada, and I'm here doing a Master's of Fine Arts at Bath Spa University at the Bath School of Art, Film and Media Studies. I've really only been shooting analog photography, so shooting on film, for the last 3 or 4 years. Before that, I'm old enough that I come by it honestly. I grew up shooting on film. For the last 20 years, that's obviously been really supplanted by digital photography. But really just in those last few years, gravitated back towards shooting on film and developing my own film. So predominantly working in black and white, in part because that's the medium where I kind of can exercise the most control over the most parts of the process and really, I guess, maximum kind of self-expression. And it's interesting, I think I came to Bath as opposed to doing film school in Canada because I wanted to have an adventure. So I wanted to go overseas if I could. And I have a lot of family history, both my father being an architect, his early career taking place in London. And I also discovered in the process of getting ready to apply to film schools and interview to film schools that my photography roots go pretty deep in England. And in fact, there was a picture that was always on the wall in my parents' home. And it's a man standing in front of a store. And it's a very old picture. It's kind of sepia toned and the clothes are very dated. And I finally asked my mom, like, who is that guy? And she just said, I think that's one of your dad's great uncles. I think that's his great uncle Bert. So for the first time, sort of in the internet age, it occurred to me I should actually look him up. So I just Googled Bert Sharp, Brighton. And it turns out Bert Sharp was a photographer in Brighton in the 1880s. He owned his firm in the 1880s. He'd been working there since the early 1870s. So all of a sudden it was kind of like this started to feel much more kind of like almost mystical that I'm coming back here. My uncle is a photographer. My brother is a camera operator in film and television. So I've always kind of been surrounded by and interested in it. I was a film student briefly when I was younger. But it was really finding out about my great uncle being a photographer here that kind of made it all sort of connect and make some kind of sense. So the idea was, like I say, to come here, have an adventure, meet other artists. When I look back at my notes for my interview to get into the program, those were all things I talked about. Just having a year where photography was my only priority, or my main priority anyway, above work, and my day job. And that was an important thing. And the other thing was to be engaged with other artists. And not just photographers, and that's been very much the case. There's a lot of ceramicists and painters and sculptors in this program, as well as photographers, and the photographers in this program bring like a really wide range of other experiences as well. And so that's been really nice. Like that's been a good thing about this year. And I was also able to bring my wife and my daughter over with me for extended periods of time. So, there's definitely a sense of like, if I'd done something here that's very selfish and very much about me for an entire year, but when I think about it, when I've talked about it with other people, they've said this sets a really good example, especially for my daughter. And it was nice to bring her over for 11 weeks in the fall, and she's coming back again soon with my wife. And to know that by the end of her childhood, she'll have spent, 17, 18 weeks in Europe and been to Iceland and France, and she'll be going to Belgium and Holland and Ireland this time. So, yeah, I feel like this is not just about me. This has been about kind of finding my place within my family history, but also about kind of creating some family history for my family as well. And I think the other thing I was really looking forward to, and it's really borne itself out, is the technical support at this school is really extraordinary. The ability to use other workshops, other modalities, but specifically the photography facilities here are really strong. The technicians in the photography department are extraordinary and really helpful. Very non-judgmental if you're trying to do something a little different, full of ideas. So that's been another really, really great part of this experience.